What's up? Thanks for pressing play on this episode of the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Marvel Studios brings the heat to the D23 Expo with footage and most of the cast of Avengers Infinity War.
Geek Boner.
Our full spoiler review of War for Planet of the Apes and a recap of our time hanging out at GFest, the largest gathering of Godzilla fans in the world, held right here in Chicago. This is the second year in a row we've gone, and I know what you're asking. Did the nerd break anything valuable this year? Well, you're just going to have to listen and find out, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, July 20th, 2017.
Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We're talking, we nerded. We're funny, disturbing. We're talking, we nerded. We're spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We're talking, we nerded. We're funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. We're talking, we nerded. We're spoiler alert.
What's up, listener? What's up, jocks, nerds, freaks, geeks? You're all welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, your weekly Geek Fest where we discuss comic book and superhero-related news, reviews, and interviews. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the jock.
He's a nerd.
Jock and Nerd.
And that's where you get the name of the show. Joining us, of course, is everyone's favorite felty American. You know him, you love him. You could probably smell him from where you are. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
What's up, dudes? How's it going?
It's going good. How you guys doing? How's everybody feeling today?
Slack hole's a little loose today.
That's good. I like a loose slack hole. That means Ruggs is going to be on fire. He's going to be bringing it.
I hope so.
Apparently you were bringing it last week, according to the one email we
got. We will get to that email. We had a great show. I got a great show planned for you,
I don't know if it was
listener.
necessarily a great show, but I felt good throughout the entire show and after it.
I felt loose. I felt alive. I felt it was like the first time my nipples were hard the whole time.
Oh, shit.
TMI, dude.
Oh, sorry. It's fantastic. Listener, this show, we got very focused content programming. We're going to talk about what Marvel Studios released at D23.
We're going to talk about something we didn't see.
Well, nobody saw it except for a few people who wrote down what they saw, and we're not going to get to see it until November. Then we will be reviewing War for the Planet of the Apes, the closing of this amazing Apes trilogy. And we all went to GFest last weekend. We'll give you a little recap.
Well, no, just me and you.
That's what I meant. Me and you went.
I never go anywhere.
Rugs, they don't let you out.
Anywhere.
They wouldn't let him in, is the problem.
No, I can't even get in through the airport.
You look way too much like a terrorist, Rugs. That's the problem. That fake beard is not helping. Godzilla Fest, the largest fan gathering of Godzilla fans, happening in Rosemont, Illinois. GFest 2017.
If you know anything about last year's episode,
yes,
you'll want to stick around till the end.
You want to find out
or
what
maybe
happens.
not.
You want to find out if I broke anything this year. Well, you just have to wait and see. As always, you can follow along with our lovely show notes, jockandnerd.com/178. We'll have links to all the lovely things we will be talking about. Fellas, unless you got any other thoughts before we get to the news, I say we get to the news.
Let's do it.
Okie dokie.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Listener, if you want to reach out and contact us, slap us around, tickle us silly, just visit jockandnerd.com/contact for all the various ways to contact us. Email, Twitter, Facebook, SpeakPipe. We even have an old school voicemail line. Yeah, you can use your phone in the show notes, tap on the phone number, and leave us a message. We'll play it on the phone. And can somebody just use it to make sure it still works? I haven't used it in ages. I don't know if you want. It's a local call. So if you're overseas, maybe don't call. It's gonna cost you way too much money. We're gonna start with a little before we get to the D23. I want to start with checking in on the Spider-Man Homecoming box office. A little box office update. This movie, in about 13 days of release, has made domestically $225 million in some change. Worldwide right now, it's sitting at $485 million. Now, those sound like good numbers, right, guys?
Sure.
Not bad.
$175 million budget. Here's the thing. It had a little funkiness between the first Friday and the second Friday. From Forbes, movie pundit Rob Kane points out Spider-Man Homecoming had an awful Friday to Friday fall. So he says the film was extremely well reviewed with a 93% Rotten Tomatoes rating, well attended, 117 million domestic gross, the best 3-day opening for Spidey flicks and Spider-Man 3's stunning 151 million debut about a decade ago. But things quickly turned sour for the Sony Marvel co-pro yesterday when the grosses fell off a cliff, tumbling 73% from the first Friday's 50.8 million tally to an estimated 13.6 million on the second Friday.
Oh, shit.
He says that's one of the worst Friday to Friday drops the 16-movie Marvel Cinematic Universe has ever seen. Only Avengers Age of Ultron and Civil War fared worse, and it's by far the worst for any of Sony's 6 Spider-Man movies.
Well, that stat right there is already nullified by the fact that they're included. Civil War had that drop off. Does anyone here think Civil War is a terrible movie?
No, that is a good point.
Right. So.
He goes on to say, though, this is a good point. He says it's notable that the 3 biggest Friday to Friday drops in Marvel's 9-year-old MCU franchise history have all come within the past 2 years. Is that mean that these movies are starting to wear out their welcome to you guys?
It could be.
Maybe.
Or is there just so much shit going on that people see it the first week and then they're on to like the next thing and just forget about it?
I heard an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Well, I watched a couple of things on YouTube and read a couple of articles on the interwebs, and that they were kind of tabulating all this shit. And basically, when they tabulate how many things equate to ticket sales,
Yeah.
that the ticket sales are not that far off from Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man, any of the Spider-Man movies.
Okay.
It's basically the same amount of people go to watch these movies.
Okay.
It's just that the money returns are inflated because of 3D and the ticket prices went up in the past, how many ever years since 2000, whatever. So basically the same audience is seeing this. It's not growing. The audience isn't growing. It's not like all a bunch of new people going to see Spider-Man movies.
And there's also different levels of when you go to see these movies now. You have so many choices. Do I want to see it in a standard movie? Do I want to see it in IMAX? Do I want to see it in 3D IMAX? Do I want to see it in real 3D? Do I want to see it in now? And all these theaters like have a proprietary.
It costs you like $30 to see the movie.
Yeah, anywhere from like $16 to like $25. I saw Spider-Man Homecoming in this thing AMC calls RPX, and I thought it was like this immersive thing. It's not that. It's in between IMAX and the regular movie. Still costs you $20, but it was. That's what they're saying is a cleaner picture, better sound mixing, nicer leather seats and shit. But it's breaking up all these margins of these movies and like, how do you want to see this? So yeah, that's definitely going to change the revenue. He has another interesting note here. He says Marvel characters have fared better lately in original new franchises like Guardians of the Galaxy and the Fox-owned Deadpool. The same can be said for Warner Brothers DC's Wonder Woman. So they're saying, as the old Hollywood maxim goes, moviegoers may be telling the studios, give me the same thing, but different.
That might be true.
And I kind of see that. Have we been burned out by another Spider-Man? People are like, oh, this is another 5th, 6th Spider-Man movie. It's interesting. In the meantime, Wonder Woman is like hitting crazy milestones. Wonder Woman has reached $380.7 million at the domestic box office, on its way to pass the U.S. total of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
It's the number 1 movie domestically.
It's the number 1
out of DC.
Wow, and it's like Warner Brothers' second biggest movie now. The third biggest domestic release of all time, right behind The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises.
It's had legs.
And speaking of legs, that was the other article that says it's holding better at the box office than any superhero movie has in 15 years.
It definitely is. It had $100 million opening is very solid, but this movie lasting this long and making this much money is pretty unprecedented. It
dethroned Sam Raimi's Spider-Man from 2002, and boy, does Gal Gadot have legs. I'll tell you what, literally and figuratively.
Geek boner.
Her legs are taking her a long way. So, interesting box office stuff going on.
Spidey over the weekend had a 62% drop.
Yeah.
From the week prior.
Yes.
Which isn't the best. I think over 60 is considered terrible.
Yeah.
Just to shit on BVS a little more, BVS had a 69% drop.
Oh, 69.
Ouch.
And when we get to
great
War
number,
for Planet of the Apes, we'll discuss what happened with that movie, because it beats. We were like, is it going to beat Spider-Man? And it did, man. Spider-Man was number one for like 1 week.
Well, no, well, I mean, it should.
Yeah.
It should. Movies don't know. Blockbusters on consecutive weekends don't normally
It doesn't happen
hold
anymore.
consecutive weekends unless the movie's really bad.
Yeah, it's crazy. So,
Well, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, domestically, Spider-Man Homecoming is already 11th,
oh, wow.
which is above Thor, Ant-Man, 2 Thors, Ant-Man, Captain America, and Incredible Hulk, and it'll probably get to like 8th by the time it's done.
You think it's only going to go midway? It's still climbing.
Well, it has
but
Doctor Strange, which is 232, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is 259. It could probably catch those two.
I mean, especially in
And
a
Iron Man 2 is that 300 mark.
in a time where it seems like every week there's a fucking blockbuster movie coming out, and the time of that is getting wider. It's not just the summer.
Here's the thing: every week there's been a blockbuster movie, but although the war box office opening makes me question fans sometimes.
Yeah.
Fans are getting smarter. If you look at like the Pirates franchise or the Transformers franchise, those movies aren't making the money that they used to make because people are now looking at Rotten Tomatoes and looking at things and being like, this is shit and it's tired and we're not seeing it anymore.
Yeah, I think the same stuff is starting to wear on people. And that's good for those franchises. Hopefully we'll start to see a shift and some of these superhero movies can adjust and, figure out where to take their franchises. All right, let's talk about D23, this is the Disney Expo they hold every other year, right?
Yeah, it's the Disney Expo for everything Disney. It's basically San Diego Comic-Con, but just for Disney stuff. So rides, movies, every sort of Disney product.
And of course, they got Star Wars, they got Marvel Studios. Oh, in Orlando, they got all their Disney properties. They released their slate of movies until like 2020.
Oh, they're running the world, dude. Their slate of movies.
You think for this to go on the weekend before San Diego Comic-Con, which is on right now, listener, as we record, that's nuts because what they showed us, what do they have left for Comic-Con? Let's go over the cast photo, first of all, this is an incredible photo by its own right. On the stage, I'll put a photo in the show notes if you haven't seen it already. From left to right, you have Sebastian Stan, Winter Soldier, Dave Bautista as Drax. You have Karen Gillan, Nebula, Palm Clementif as Mantis, Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, Chris Hemsworth, Thor, Josh Brolin, Thanos, Kevin Feige in the middle, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, Mark Ruffalo, Hulk, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch, Paul Bettany, Vision, Don Cheadle, War Machine, and Anthony Mackie, Black as Falcon, all on this fucking stage
Anthony
together.
Mackie being Black
Falcon. I was going to call him Black Falcon.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Black Panther, Black Falcon, whatever. You got
Black Cheeto.
Black Cheadle.
Anthony Mackie, Black.
Little Freudian
You should
slip.
cut that out.
No, you're leaving that in,
No,
you son of a bitch.
I'm leaving that in. Because Falcon. He's Falcon. But these guys came out, I think, after they showed in this Infinity War.
No, the way they did it.
How did they go?
They brought them all out, and then they were like, "Hey, we're gonna recap the past 10 years of Marvel," and they did this like recap video, and then they spliced in the trailer at the end as like a surprise.
Whoa. Okay, so here's a quick paragraph recapping this trailer from Screen Rant, and holy crap. The trailer begins with a passed out and wounded Thor floating in space. Guardians of the Galaxy hit him as they are flying through the space in Milano. In the Milano, he's stuck to the windshield and Rocket proposes using the windshield wipers to wake him up. Thor is brought into the Milano, wakes up and says, "Who the hell are you guys?" There's a cut to Loki holding the Tesseract, a shot of Spider-Man on a bus. Arm hairs stand up, confirming Spidey sense. Iron Man working with the Guardians. Thanos arrives to battle Avengers. Spider-Man shown wearing new suit from the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. Cut to Peter with mask off saying, "I'm sorry," to Stark. Thanos battling Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, and Iron Man. Shows Captain America in a new suit with a beard. Black Widow is now blonde. Thanos pulls pieces of the moon to Earth to toss at the Avengers, and they show the logo.
Geek boner shit.
Holy crap. I don't even know where to start. It goes on. Outside of this, there was quick shots of Scarlet Witch in combat, Black Panther battling in Wakanda, massive destruction, amazing, incredible amounts
from
of
what I
scene
heard,
show.
just to add a little couple more tidbits, it sounds like Scarlet Witch and Vision are fighting something, and she's trying to help him. And then there's also a shot of Winter Soldier with a Wakandan army behind him.
Whoa. And Feige said, so this description.
And, the Doctor Strange, just another tidbit, Doctor Strange and Star-Lord, Doctor Strange is calling upon like stairs or like little magic steps, and Star-Lord's jumping off of them, firing shit at.
Wow. Kevin Feige said the trailer won't be released until later this year, probably right before Thor Ragnarok. So I don't know.
Unless it appears this weekend at Comic-Con and someone leaks it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're probably going to show this again, but geez, I mean, let's break this down. Like the
Very
beginning,
unexpected.
Yeah, the beginning sounds hilarious. So the beginning sounds like it takes place right after Thor Ragnarok. I think Thor has his short hair and he's in his battle armor from Thor Ragnarok. So it's going to tie into that. Spider-Man, Spidey
one more
sense.
tidbit. Sorry.
Yeah.
They also said, I read it somewhere, that the Hulkbuster armor appears.
Hulkbuster armor also appears. Yes, I read that also. So there is so many things they're breaking out. This Spider-Man shit.
Crazy.
Yeah, this Spider-Man shit is crazy. First of all, he takes that suit. He's wearing the Iron Spider suit in this movie, and he does have spider sense. Ruggs, what do you make of this trailer description? What are your thoughts?
Well, I didn't see it, so I don't know if it was good, but what it sounds like, it's going to be pretty fucking interesting. I mean, Captain America has a fucking beard.
Well,
and a new costume?
Yeah, the rumor is that he may be Nomad in Infinity War. You guys know the Nomad?
Yeah. He's got like a blue and yellow costume with like discs on it.
That costume ain't gonna work.
The costume is very dated looking. His chest is wide open. He had a short-lived run, Captain America 180, 184, where Rogers, disillusioned by the revelation of the secret empire running America, took off his Captain America costume, donned a cape, blue and yellow uniform, and became Nomad. Anybody, you read any Nomad?
I remember Nomad.
I don't remember Nomad.
I do. But then some other guy became Nomad.
Yeah, there was a lot of other people. So he's putting down the Captain America costume in this. Things are changing.
Geek boner.
So much geek boner in that description. The spider sense gets my nipples hard, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, you guys get the spider sense.
Finally.
Yeah, inconsistently, yes.
Yes.
You get it.
They're shoving it in now.
He gets it 7 months later.
His powers are still developing.
Like puberty.
Yeah. Exactly. Also at D23, did you guys see the pictures of the Black Order, which is Thanos' little crew, these statues, and you get a good look at Thanos also. Black Order, of course, consists of characters with such names as Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, Ebony Maw, and Cull Obsidian, known as Black Dwarf in the comics.
Those are relatively new characters made by Hickman.
Yeah.
I'll describe them real quick.
Yeah.
Black Dwarf is basically the heavy.
He's bigger than Thanos.
He's huge.
He's huge.
Proxima Midnight is like kind of this warrior woman that is married to Corvus Glaive.
They're a couple.
Who has this spear or knife or whatever, scyther? I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But it can basically cut through anything. And then Ebony Maw is their like manipulating magic-y kind of guy.
So, I mean, if they're going to look like this in the movie, it's very comics accurate. It's very, very badass. What do you guys think of the way Thanos looks? Like, we're getting an even better look at Josh Brolin Thanos now in this statue. It's going to look like that.
Where is this poster? Which link is that?
This is the one under Black Order from CBR.com.
While he finds it,
yeah,
Got it.
I like how everything looks. I like the fact that I'm sure there's going to be faceless people too that they're fighting.
Oh, what are they called? They mentioned they're in there.
The Night Riders,
the Outriders.
Outriders.
Yes,
Yeah. So the Outriders will be your like faceless people that there's swarms of them.
Yeah.
But I think what's going to happen is you'll have these 5 characters floating all over different parts of the universe, and different fun team ups of Avengers will be fighting,
carrying out his orders. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying they have fun, like you'll have like Star-Lord and Doctor Strange and Iron Man fighting Ebony Maw or something. And then like you'll have Spider-Man and Drax and Winter Soldier fighting Cull Obsidian or something.
Oh, man. And like, can you imagine Black Dwarf going up against like the Hulk and maybe Iron Man and the Hulkbuster? Holy crap. That's going to be awesome. The Outriders they kind of have like Geiger alien-esque heads, and they got like 4 arms. And they are the faceless swarms. So this movie has everything. I love these statues. They also revealed this new logo for the 10-year anniversary. It's just Marvel Studios, but instead of the I and O in Studios, it says 10 and it's red. It says the first 10 years. That's pretty cool.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool.
I'm take all my money first off.
Right?
But I'm very excited. Everything I've read so far has been pretty exciting. Everyone that's seen it has said it, like, forget about the airport battle. This trailer just blows people's minds. I'm still curious how they're going to pull it off, but I'm very excited.
So here is who's confirmed I got a list of who's confirmed and who's not confirmed for this movie. And so, if we just went over that cast list on there, missing, strangely, is Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson. They're probably busy shooting something.
Oh, yeah, they weren't there. Who cares?
But confirmed is all those people, plus Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Paul Rudd, Zoe Saldana, Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, Tom Hiddleston, Denai Guerrera, Benedict Wong, Colby Smulders, Benicio del Toro, and Peter Dinklage. How about Brolin, dude? How many?
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, it says question mark. It doesn't say who he's going to be, which he was.
What?
Yeah, that's weird because he was just he was in the X-Men movies.
He's going to be a voice for something?
Maybe he's the voice of one of the Black Order dudes.
Hey, let me ask you guys something.
Yeah.
Obviously, there hasn't been a movie like this ever in terms of build-up for this long.
Yeah.
But has there ever been a good movie with 20 to 25 main characters, maybe to 50?
Ooh,
No.
I can't think of one, really. Like, this is never...
I can't even think of one that's even been attempted.
No, this is unprecedented. This has never been attempted before. They're going to be writing the blueprint for how to do this. And whether they can pull it off is going to...
Do you do this?
I don't know. How do you give all these people a chance to have their moment?
Well, you have everything established already for most of these characters.
Right.
So we need to talk about the characters who have not been established.
Right.
And how they're going to kind of fold those into the thing. Because you've already seen most of these guys at least 4 or 5 times in a movie at this point.
Yeah.
So they don't have to do any building.
They're going to do, I think, one of the first movie, I might be wrong, but I think this first Infinity War will kind of be a backdoor origin for Captain Marvel, too.
Well, in the not confirmed list, we have Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, Gwyneth Paltrow, Jon Favreau, Jeff Goldblum as a Grandmaster, Martin Freeman, and Marissa Tomei. Not confirmed, but then we have like not happening, and they put the Defenders and Evangeline Lilly, so that's really nothing. But the not confirmed, Brie Larson on that list. So yeah, that's interesting. And how about Josh Brolin? Like he's Cable and Thanos and Jonah Hex in a really bad Jonah Hex movie. He's got a lot of comic book credits now. It's just pretty badass to be Thanos.
He seems to be enjoying it.
Yeah, man. So yeah, they came out and like you can watch some of the video. Like he had the gauntlet and he was holding it up and he was having a blast. We also
I'm so curious how this is going to be pulled off.
How do you pull this off?
How do you give every character their moment? And like, I mean, do you give every character an arc? I don't. What? Who dies? I don't know what happens.
Well, here's the other thing. How many people do you think are going to die at the end of this movie? Somebody has to die. They got to start killing some of these people off.
Well, how many people are on screen in Infinity War? Like 12?
This picture has
No. I mean, in Civil War, 12 people on screen.
Yeah.
They had 12.
It's like 6 and 6 sides. Yeah.
They had 12, and then you could throw in like they had Zemo and Emily Van Camp and other minor characters.
Right. So they will have.
They could do Civil War as a good way to like extrapolate what they'll do with this.
Yeah, they just it's just going to be bigger.
It's got to be lighter on story and more on fighting, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing 2 movies, so that might help. I was listening to Movie Bob, one of his podcasts.
Yeah.
The Chipman Bros podcast. Pretty good podcast. But
Okay.
they were like, one of the real challenges besides integrating all these characters and all that stuff is like Guardians has a very, very like wacky tone to it.
Yeah.
That hasn't yet been integrated with like the seriousness of like Captain America movies.
Yeah.
And Avengers.
Yeah.
So how do you do that balance without Guardians still feeling like Guardians and the Avengers still feeling like
Avengers? I mean, when they added Ant-Man to Civil War, he brought in some of that humor and it worked. That was like a start of that. Right. But then, Guardians 2 was full of laughs, full of gags. How do you incorporate that into something that's going to be real heavy and probably end in the death of a few characters? But this balance, man, the Russo brothers have their work cut out from him.
One thing they do have going for them, besides the hype, is this is also something that was going for Avengers and Wonder Woman. Is I think the fans are rooting for this to be good.
Yeah,
and what I mean by that is like Avengers. When that first came out, you wanted to see that movie because you were hyped to see it, but there was also the inherent thing that this has never been done before, so you wanted it to be good.
Yep.
Similar to Wonder Woman. Not that it's never been done before, but people wanted that to be good so badly that when it was good, it was hyped so highly. And I think that's what Infinity War has going for it too. Is I think a lot of people are rooting for this to actually be good.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, Marvel pulled out the Avengers. We've never seen that. They're going to pull this shit out, something that's never been attempted.
It is a huge goal.
Yeah.
Now, Mark Ruffalo talked to Variety along at D23. Right from his own mouth, here's a clip regarding a Hulk solo film. Here's what he had to say.
I want to just make one thing perfectly clear today. A standalone Hulk movie will never happen.
Tell me why.
Because Universal has the rights to the standalone Hulk movie, and for some reason, they don't know how to play well with Marvel. And they don't want to make money.
And with you as the new Hulk, it would be terrible. So that's really probably because we know that these corporations would work it out if they thought they'd make enough money. So
I think it's
about. There you go.
There you go.
We're never getting a standalone Hulk movie, and that's pretty much.
Is that what Mark Ruffalo sounds like? He sounds like a different guy.
He does sound a little. He sounds a little dweeby sometimes. He's like, "Right,
Bruce Banner."
That's Bruce Banner. There was another clip where I think they were messing with everyone because Ruffalo and Cheadle was sitting next to him. He's like, "Dude, everyone dies," and Don Cheadle's like, "Hey, shut up! What are you doing?" But I think they were just fucking with people. But. Yeah, that I thought that was interesting. Or like, if people are asking and they don't understand the way,
Well, let me explain why they were able to do a Hulk movie in the MCU prior.
Yeah.
Before Disney bought them, they were under Paramount, and they were able to work out a deal with Universal to put out a movie. But now that it's Disney, Universal's not going to play nicely with Disney for now.
No, but I mean, if they see what they did with Spider-Man and so,
although Universal at this point is hurting for franchises, I mean, they did just try to launch the Dark Universe, which with The Mummy has been a flop.
That has been a failure.
So maybe they need some money. Who knows?
I think if they see what the Spider-Man deal is bringing the monies to Sony, they may change their mind. Be like, you know what? Let's enter into a similar deal.
I think Universal may. This might be just me making this up, but I think they also have the rights to Namor, which is why we haven't seen Namor.
Oh, you may be right. I thought he goes along with the Fantastic Four. No, yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
No, I think that's you would think he goes along with the Fantastic Four, but then we also just saw the Watchers in Guardians, which I thought were also fantastic.
But you have like Fox and all these studios making the movies like, Logan and shit and Deadpool. Why wouldn't Universal want to make some that money
right?
from Marvel?
They need to jump into this.
Like it's they own the rights, right? They can make a Hulk movie.
They could make a Hulk movie. Why don't they? Yeah, they could make a Hulk movie.
It just wouldn't be a Mark Ruffalo Hulk.
Well, the one Hulk movie they did make was Hulk with Ang Lee, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I thought that movie wasn't very good.
Yeah, but now they know what to do.
Yeah, that's true.
They got a better template. The one thing I do want to touch on from San Diego Comic-Con, because what next week is just going to be a orgy of geek news from San Diego Comic-Con. We'll pick out the stuff that we liked. But
yeah, so for the listener right now, you're probably going to listen to this while Comic-Con is happening.
Yes.
Or we're not going to talk about anything from Comic-Con, so you're going to have to wait till next episode.
Next episode will be our Comic-Con rundown, but there's this awesome poster that people tweeted of. Again, this is something I never thought I'd see. The MCU on one poster. You have Iron Man flanked by the Guardians behind him, Nebula, Gamora, and Mantis with Doctor Strange, and then Spider-Man in the Iron Spider suit, the Black Panther, War Machine, Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, and then the Hulk in the background. Holy crap, and it just says 5/4/18. And you see Spider-Man, he's wearing that Iron Spider suit, man. Shit, that's fucking badass. Like, I just...
As artist, do you like that poster?
It's not bad. It's a good painting. Ruggs, what do you think?
It's all right. I'm not like bowled over by it. It's Alex Ross, right?
Is it Alex Ross?
I don't know. It looks kind of...
It looks Alex Ross-ish. Does it say in here?
It could be like...
It's a concept art poster.
It could be like somebody doing an Alex Ross thing.
The only thing I don't like about it is everyone's looking kind of concerned and up, and then Nebula's looking like right at you.
Yeah, everyone's looking off to the right.
I guess, like they're looking for something. Something's happening, but then Nebula's not looking at it.
I mean, if they just grab some concept art, I mean, there's good likenesses, and it's a nice special poster for the people.
Try to tell if it's Photoshop or the paint.
I don't know. It's hard to tell in the photo. It looks like a paint job, but maybe on top of a photo kind of thing. It's a combination.
I can't tell.
Yeah, it is hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
It's like if I could see the actual...
Right. I need to see this up close.
Of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I could figure it out.
It's hard to tell in a photo of a picture. But it's official. The last thing I wanted to bring up is there was a crazy leaked image that may have possible spoilers from an editing deck. Like it's a shot of a screen with a lot of stuff on it. What do you guys think? Have you seen this? Should we talk about this? I don't know how much this...
I don't see really anything to talk about in it.
We see there. So you see like some green screen shots on the left side, and then in the one main thing is in the lower right. There's a picture of Spider-Man like CGI in the Iron Spider suit, and Doctor Strange flying at him. They say there's two very important bits of information in this small image. The first is that Spider-Man appears to be wearing the Iron Spider costume or a version, which was presented to him as part of a potential Avengers membership. The other interesting thing about the image is Doctor Strange's dialogue. As he's saying, Peter, protect them. They're not dead, while flying towards Spider-Man. It's written on the screen in words, which seems to hint at a big heroic moment for Spider-Man in the upcoming film. This may be, like you said earlier, Anthony, where they're teaming up to fight Thanos' children, which the Black Order in this Infinity War, they are all his kids, just like Gamora and Nebula, who maybe he was trying to raise them to be part of the Black Order. And they disappointed him, and he has they're called his children.
Yep.
I don't think it's a hoax. It came off of Reddit, but very, very interesting image. So check that out in the show notes. But, man, what do they have left at San Diego? They got a 90-minute Hall H presentation. I mean, they have Black Panther. They have Thor.
They have Thor. They have Black Panther. I'm pretty sure they'll do a Black Panther, Thor panels. And they'll probably do an Infinity War panel. They might do like an Ant-Man and the Wasp panel too.
Oh, yeah, they might have an announce.
Yeah, they have some stuff, and they know what they're doing.
God damn, but 2 weeks that this hype is just they're going to break the internet.
What they like to do is that they're in the evening on Saturday. So DC is in the morning.
Oh yeah,
and we'll be like releasing stuff, and then there'll be all this hype, and then
they're going to undercut it.
Always will undercut them. And
Marvel's like, you go first. That's cool. Put your shit out.
They always have. Every
DC
time
will
you
go on and try and explain why they don't have any directors for their movies.
These movies. We have one director making 7 movies.
We got a director today. Yay!
Oh wait, he already left. Never mind. He's already
They
quit.
always like to undercut DC. It's kind of funny.
I mean, DC, I'm starting to see images of like Steppenwolf, Sierra and Hins as Steppenwolf, and the new Batmobile is there. We'll talk about it next week. See all the shit they put out. But wow, any final thoughts on Infinity War? I cannot wait. This is fucking crazy.
When all that stuff came out, I was combing the internet for more details last Saturday and hoping that something would leak online, and they did a good job. Nothing leaked.
I'm surprised that they can stop this from leaking, stop any video from getting. They must have taken their phones like they do at Hall H. In this day and age, this cybersecurity, they got fucking Snowden working on this. Keep it quiet. Okay, that's it for the news for this episode, because I want to get to War for the Planet of the Apes. But before that, we're going to take a quick break, play some promos, and we'll see you on the flip side.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Blake from the History of Bad Ideas. And we'll get back to your regularly scheduled program here in just a second, geek listeners. But we do a weekly podcast called The History of Bad Ideas.
Yeah, where we'll discuss things like television or movies or music or games or any other thing that falls into our geek-related podcast knowledge.
You can find us on Geek Life Radio, Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, or Radio-Blitz, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, or you can listen to us whenever the hell you want on iTunes and Stitcher.
Check us out. Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
My name is Carrie Sims, and I host Sketching Comedy with my artist friends, Imran Javed.
Hey, that's me.
And Phil Rude each week live on YouTube. Hang out with us as I learn and discuss the legends of comic book art and comedians, while the fellows are creating live drawings during the show. I learned Jack Kirby most closely identified with his creation of The Thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Carrie. He was an old-school tough guy, and it's because he was in a street gang in New York.
Visit BlazingCaribouStudio.com or tune in each week on our YouTube channel and download the podcast at iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever podcasts are found.
Catch you later.
Do you like superheroes? Do you like movies, television shows, and comic books? Do you like listening to a guy rant about these things for hours on end? Well, then you're in luck, because you need to check out Podcapers, the official podcast of A Place to Hang Your Cape. Featuring me, Scott James Meridew, we'll be talking about a variety of geek and nerdy issues, joined each week by a rotating panel of guests that will try to contain me. Jokes on them, I cannot be contained. So please join us on Podcapers, the official podcast of A Place to Hang Your Cape, where superheroes go to relax, but I never do. Cue the music!
Jock and Nerd.
Hey, listener, if you're enjoying the Jock and Nerd podcast, there's more show to be consumed.
Geek Boner.
Join our fan club on Patreon, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Pledge for a low monthly donation. You're going to get access to hours and hours of bonus audio, a whole new podcast feed just for our patrons.
Hey, nerd.
Yes.
Listen, not you, nerd.
Oh, not me, nerd.
You nerd, all you young nerds
you talk
out there.
Talk to the nerds, Anthony.
You like our shit? Give us your money. You'll get more shit. Simple enough. If not, we'll fucking throw you in a toilet.
It's basic math.
We'll give you a wedgie and a swirly at the same time. It is basic math. Basic math. It's basic. I can't talk
What are you,
today.
Cindy from the Brady Bunch?
Like, dude, Martha, I cannot talk today. I'm exhausted. Look.
Oh, my God.
If you want to know what kind of stuff we have, I put up another free clip. I'll put a link in the show notes. It's a short clip, and it has to do with me learning something new about the Jock. I don't know if you guys remember. What
did you learn?
It has to do about how we use our hands. Remember that?
Still don't know.
Remember that little conversation? I don't want to.
About wiping front to back?
Yes, it was all about how the jock and myself, we wipe the same way. I was surprised to learn this.
Oh, shit.
No,
Wait, what?
That's
I
not
don't even
it.
remember this conversation.
Well, you're going to have to go on the Patreon page.
Yeah.
And it's a free clip. If you like it, there's also a free post show from our Spider-Man
last
review.
week?
Yes, it was.
Oh, I might have been.
I don't even remember. You put the show up from last week?
Yes. What's the matter with you guys?
No, I didn't even know it was out.
But look, the more exciting, important thing is we have a new patron. Talking nerd. Yes. Loyal listener and new patron fan club member Wes Cranford is on board.
Like a fake name.
It's not a fake name.
We still got to get the $20 guy on.
We got to get Joe Henry on, but Wes writes in. I'm going to share his email right now instead of the end because he's giving us money. He said, okay, I did it. Well, it's been a year since I first wrote you clowns, and I've finally given you some money. Now, Rug Boy won't have to say sucking dick all the time. LOL, seriously loved last show. Rug Boy was on fire. Reminds me of when I lived in New York because he's a lot like my New York City friend Jay. Crusty, bitter, opinionated, but Jay moved out of mom's house. Liked your review of Spider-Man. Funny, I couldn't figure out why I didn't enjoy it as much as the others, and your points made me realize what I was missing. I did enjoy it, but honestly, Ant-Man was funnier. Maybe we're all just getting used to these movies and are no longer wowed. Keep it up, boys. You do make me laugh, and yes, sometimes cringe, LOL. The yank from down under, Wes Cranford. So Wes lives in Australia. I think he's
He's talking about the show that just happened. He listened to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, last week's show where you're talking
where you mentioned sucking dick a lot.
Yeah, this is and to remind you, Rugs, I'll give you this.
And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
That sums up.
Never gets old.
That never gets old.
Great.
That sums up the last show.
It makes me
listener.
laugh every time as if it's the first time I've heard.
I love that.
The Arrested Sir is the best.
You got to get Marisa up on this board.
I'm gonna have to cut some Mauricia. If you don't know what that is, listener, just look up. How do you spell it, Rugs?
I don't even know. You asked me to spell a foreign name
phonetically. Just spell it out. Not you, Rugs, but the listener.
Trust me. Yeah, I'll put a link in the show notes. You'll see it. You won't be disappointed. Let's get to the war for the Planet of the Apes. We're gonna start it off like this.
You maniacs! You blew it up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time!
Okay, we're ready. This is the 9th movie in the Apes franchise. And before we even get to the review, Anthony is our big Apes guy.
I love apes. They're not monkeys. They're apes.
We need a quick rundown of this franchise so we know where we are.
Yes. So Planet of the Apes, those movies that I think they came out in the 60s.
Starting in the 60s.
Was it the 60s?
Yeah.
Let me look.
66, 69-ish.
Damn it, Anthony, you sound confident in what you're saying.
68 was the first film.
There you go.
So back then, before Star Wars, this was the sci-fi franchise. But back then, unlike now, sci-fi franchises didn't get more money as they made sequels. They got less.
Yeah, right.
So by the time they got to the 5th one, which was Battle for the Planet of the Apes, the movie had no money. They had no money. And the Apes movies have always been this weird thing where everyone knows about them, but a lot of people think they're just pure camp, or all they remember is the makeup.
Rubber masks.
Right. But these movies were actually all pretty good, in my opinion. Starting with Planet of the Apes, which is the most famous one, where Charlton Heston's character goes out to space, comes back. It's a planet of apes. The ending is one of the most iconic endings in all of movie cinema.
That's what I just played.
Yeah, that's where he realizes that it's not some fucking weird world he's on. It was on
Earth.
And it was the humans that killed themselves, and now the apes have rose up. So that's important because this movie that we're about to review ties kind of into that if it really wanted to.
Yeah.
Beneath was this weird movie on the Planet of the Apes where humans were worshiping nuclear missiles and another human came. Not that great of a movie. Escape from the Planet of the Apes is one of the better ones where 2 of the apes from the ape planet go back in time. They escape the planet and go to our era in the 70s, and it's an allegory for racism and all this stuff because they're accepted and then they're feared, they're aliens, and they get killed. But they give birth to Caesar, who up to this point in the series was this hyped character. He's this prophet. Caesar's the first ape that said no. He's our savior. So they give birth to Caesar in sort of an alternate timeline now. It's like this was basically Terminator before Terminator.
Yeah.
So they give birth to Caesar, who rises up in conquest of the Planet of the Apes, which is set in the future where a bunch of apes are now basically slaves to humans, and Caesar leads a revolt. And then battle for the Planet of the Apes is apes versus humans, but then there's also this big thing in this where it's ape never not kill ape, as one of the gorillas kills Caesar's son, and there's infighting for apes. So all these movies were really good, and most of them are really good, and it's all been about the rise of Caesar, basically, and how he's this prophet, and how he's the first ape to say no to humans. So then we get to the remake in 2001.
That one doesn't count.
Planet of the Apes, which you shouldn't even watch. So
just
we'll
ignore
discard
that.
that. Although it has some great makeup, and Tim Burton directed it, so it's got some weird shit.
He hated making that movie like while he was making the movie.
It does have awesome makeup.
Okay.
I'll give it that.
Okay.
So now why I'm recapping this is I feel like no one's really talking about the Planet of the Apes franchise now.
Yeah.
Even though it's prequels / reboots of the original series, which were big movies back then, and people still, to this day talk about the ending to the first Planet.
Classic sci-fi.
It's iconic.
Yeah, that's classic.
Iconic franchise.
But for whatever reason, I think it's because these came out and then Star Wars came out directly after, and Star Wars took the throne as we are the definitive sci-fi franchise that everyone remembers, when it was actually the Apes before that. But anyways, so Rise of the Planet of the Apes, if you saw that, or if you haven't, I'm going to recap it, is basically these apes get tested on for Alzheimer's disease, and it's a cure for Alzheimer's, but then this cure has a effect on apes where it grows their brains and it makes them smarter. And Caesar is the first ape raised by James Franco to kind of lead a revolt.
It's all James Franco's fault, by the way, all of this.
Yeah, he takes the ape in, blah, 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 blah. But basically, Caesar leads a revolt of apes and gets them all out of the zoos or whatever. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which in my opinion is one of the best movies I've ever seen, is basically a story about a king, again, trying to toe the fragile line of war, trying to play both sides of appealing to humans, but also appealing to apes. And then he has to deal with another ape who's his brother who turns on him. It's your classic, like, brotherhood.
Yeah. Shakespearean.
Yeah, brotherhood going down, Shakespearean story, which brings us to war.
Which brings us to
war. So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes ends with Caesar defeats Koba.
He actually kills an ape when he says he doesn't. He
says he won't
does not kill ape.
Yeah, kills the ape named Koba, and then he's talking to Jason Clarke's character, who I forget the name of, and they basically are like, "Yep, war is inevitable. It's going to happen."
So Koba kind of kicks off the conflict.
Koba kicks off the war
between man and ape.
Rewinding real quick, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. One of my favorite moment in that movie is a moment that's kind of been built to in all the 60s and 70s Planet of the Apes movies, is when Caesar finally says no.
Yeah.
And the way they direct that scene and the way it's with the music and all that is one of the best scenes I've ever seen.
Plus, this is a movie, Rise, that kills humanity, and the disease spreads in the credits at the end of the movie. It's like, it's so amazing. The end credits are amazing. That would be a movie itself, but they're like, fuck it. We'll just put it. Everyone dies in the credits. We're moving on. So quickly, before we get to our thoughts, this movie on Rotten Tomatoes right now is at 94%. Metacritic, 82 score out of 100. Box office wise, this was made for $150 million. Opening weekend, it makes $56 million, which Spider-Man made like 45. So it took over Spider-Man, but in the Planet of the Apes series, this actually, it's a little bit more than what Rise made opening weekend, which was 54 million. Dawn made 72 million opening weekend. But so it didn't get close to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
It didn't kill it at the box office. It wasn't bad, but it didn't kill it.
Yeah. It was up against Spider-Man, so it had a little bit of a trouble to do that.
Yeah.
But it's still like dethroned number one. So worldwide, it's made 125 million as of July 19th, and taken down Spider-Man at the box office. This movie written and directed by Matt Reeves, who
coming in to save Batman,
will be doing Batman next. Mark Bomback also gets writing credit. The cast, I mean, if you haven't seen these people, you don't see them because a lot of them are apes. You got Andy Serkis as Caesar, Woody Harrelson as the main human bad guy, the Colonel. He's just called the Colonel. Steve Zahn in a great role as the bad ape. Karen Conneval, Amelia Miller, a bunch of other people. They're all, Toby Kebbell sort of makes an appearance. We'll get to that. And a bunch of other people playing these amazingly mo-capped apes. And I feel like, how do you even judge these performances? Like, I don't know what these people look like.
Well, I think that's a conversation for a little later.
Yeah.
But,
so let's start with opening thoughts. Anthony, I feel like you were the most excited to see this. When you walked out of the movie theater, what was going through your head?
I walked out and I was like, that was really good. I was impressed with everything that was done. Not to say this is a bad movie. I think Dawn is a better movie, just because I think Dawn has a little bit more going for it, but we'll get into that later. I think War for the Planet of the Apes was a pretty fitting trilogy to the Caesar story.
Mm-hmm.
And taken as a trilogy, this is one of the best sci-fi trilogies in a really long time. I can't think of a sci-fi trilogy or a trilogy in general that's stuck the landing in all three of their movies.
Absolutely.
I was very satisfied with this.
It is very satisfying. Ruggs, opening thoughts. What'd you think of the movie?
Well, I'm going to ape what Anthony says.
Oh.
A pun.
Lot of ape puns.
None of that monkey business around here.
I thought it was good. I liked the second movie better. I think it was a little bit more enthralling. But this was a very good movie. I was dazzled by the effects. The performances all around were good. So I did enjoy this movie a lot. It's definitely worthy of the score that it has on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, it's definitely a good movie.
Right on, yeah. And when I came out of this, it was like satisfying and sad, and it reminded me of Logan a little bit. But I mean, I gotta agree with you guys. What a solid ending to this trilogy. The arc of Caesar is so good. You feel how beaten and older he is in this. To me, it's close. It's very close to the second movie. The second movie may edge it out a little bit. But stunning CGI, stunning performances, great, just a great movie, a great ending to this movie. And again, Anthony, you're right. I can't think of another solid trilogy like this, in recent times. But wow, I was wild. I was like, wow, holy crap. Like, it felt good, and it was very satisfying. So same things. So usually in our reviews, we talk about what we like and what we didn't like. Let's start with what we liked. And I will just say, I came back and I watched Dawn of the Planet of the Apes afterwards. And originally when I watched it, I was like, man, these apes look amazing. But holy shit, compared to War, the way the technology has gone, the CGI, these apes were the whole time I was like, how are they doing this? How is this not real? Like,
they're real apes.
I was like, how much money are they throwing at the screen?
I mean, 150
like, how
million.
do they afford to do this?
Yeah, and Matt Reeves doesn't shy away from close-ups with mocap characters. Like, the times at the beginning of this movie is so strong. The first 20 minutes, they're signing, and you're reading captions, but a lot of the times there's not a lot of dialogue because you could tell everything that's going on from the expressions, from the facial expressions. They're saying everything. And the fucking CGI is just,
it's like micro expressions.
Yes.
It's like little tiny things that are going on. It is an amazing, it's got to win an Oscar for special effects. It does. It has to. There's nothing I've seen like on this level and scale of different characters. Like at best, if you like watch a King Kong, like there's one guy that,
right.
There's one character. There's like
not like 80 of them. Yeah. All 80 mocap characters, and they're all convincing, and you forget that they're mocapped.
This movie, and like if you look at Dawn and this one in combination, Rise had a little bit of it, but the last two, I can't think of another movie. Like, this is unbelievable the way they're able to have a movie where like most of the dialect is sign or just facial expressions.
Yes.
Or like I think a lot of it too I've read was actual like the way chimpanzees would communicate with one another too, because it's not pure sign language. So like that's when like people are like, you like these movies? I'm like, do you not understand that these movies are amazing and they're doing it without dialogue?
Yeah. Like
this is like a foreign film.
It
You're
is
watching
seamless.
basically a foreign film.
Absolutely.
It's seamless. Like you don't see that rubbery CG effect.
No.
You don't feel like pulled out of the movie at all. In fact, it pulls you in even more than a regular movie with CG because CG is so easy to spot.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And even though we have a suspension of disbelief and we know that this is not real, it is real enough to where like the performances can actually elicit emotions from us.
I mean, the eyes,
that's crazy.
The eyes on all of these creatures had so much soul and pathos, and like you knew what they were thinking, you knew what they felt just by looking at it without them saying anything. It's incredible.
Yeah.
What else do we like, Anthony? Name me something else you liked.
Oh man, I liked Caesar a lot. Caesar was awesome. I think his character arc was great. I liked that they had the teases of Koba. So they kept teasing that from the second film, he was all like ape, not kill ape. And basically he was saying that Koba lost himself due to his hate and his rage.
Yeah.
And the tease throughout this film was, spoiler alert, the Colonel kills Caesar's wife and his kid, Blue Eyes.
And right in the beginning.
Right in the beginning of the film. So for much of this film, he's on the hunt just for this personal revenge to get the Colonel. And they keep teasing that he's going to go to the dark side. He's going to go to the dark side. And I liked that.
He says it to Maurice. He's like, I don't know if I can control my hate.
Right.
And he's like, Koba was like this. And he goes, I may be like this too.
Right. So you had the story of this character, maybe falling apart and losing all his morals. And I liked that he wasn't this perfect. I don't even know how to describe this perfect guy. He's not a guy. This perfect ape.
Well, he's a guy.
He's a guy.
He's a guy. It is a guy, and I
liked his arc, and I liked the fact that Caesar gets them there, but it's that story where he sacrifices all his life and everything, his energy, to get them to the promised land, but then he doesn't get to see the fruits of his labor. He dies.
But he inadvertently, like twice, like through his kind of wanting to save the apes and be nice with the humans, like he fucks up twice so big in this movie, putting everybody in danger. In terms of in the beginning where he lets the scouts go back because he's like, I want to send him a message. We're not savages. And the traders, the donkeys, which I love that, like the allusion to Donkey Kong, and also pack mules that they have them working.
That's the humans that have the apes that went to their side. Just to recap,
Koba supporters.
Koba supporters are now helping the humans out.
That doesn't seem like it makes sense.
No, that should be in what we did like, because there's a little bit of a disconnect there. But I love the way in all three movies they showed his speech get better and better progressively to where he is just like talking like people now, and you see how everyone else and even Maurice at the end starts talking, and
Maurice knows how to speak a little bit. And the ape that turned on them, the gorilla, he speaks as well.
Man,
didn't more apes speak in the previous movie?
No, it was actually only Maurice had one line.
Koba talked a lot.
Koba talked.
And Caesar.
Caesar and Blue Eyes talked a little bit, but Blue Eyes died in this one, so he didn't get to
Blue
speak.
Eyes didn't say anything in this one.
He got killed in the
he's
first
dead.
act.
Oh, his son.
Yeah, he never.
Well, you know what? That was the other crazy thing. Like they set up, like you meet his son, and like you like him, and just he gets killed right in the beginning with his wife.
Well, he had a really pivotal part in the second one. So to kill him that right away was like, oh shit, this movie's serious.
That scene was awesome with the waterfall where they were hiding, but I was surprised that was so early in the movie. Like when we saw the trailer, I thought that would have been like towards the end, but man, it just opens up with fucking.
Well, that's the scene that basically jumpstarts the movie.
Yeah.
Like, because at that point, it was like, we're going to go, we found paradise, we'll leave tomorrow.
Yeah, so
like that throws a wrench into plans.
I think the plot, it's a very simple movie. There's not a lot that happens. The plot is basically they're going to the promised land, but then Woody.
It's simple, but it's
deep.
It's like it's gut punch after gut punch because you get his wife and his child die.
Right.
Then you get Luca dying.
Yeah.
Which is the gorilla, the general gorilla. Then you get, oh shit, all the apes have been captured.
Yes.
And they're now being slaves.
Yes.
And then you get, oh, let's fucking torture some apes. So, and then you get, oh, let's shoot a random orangutan. So you get like a lot of gut punches along the way. Oh, and by the way, at the end, Caesar dies.
And then Caesar dies, which, I mean, Caesar knew that this was going to be his last hurrah.
It's the story of a prophet, basically like Moses.
Yeah.
Or it's like the end of Logan, where like he gets the kids to the promised land. It's basically the story we should have seen with Terminator and John Connor that we never got.
I mean, and a lot like the first movie, like it's part prison break, it's part like Nazi concentration camp, part slavery, part like white supremacist commentary,
part Trump.
Yes, a little bit.
Let's build a wall.
Yeah, they're building a wall. They're like, what is he building?
Let's build a wall for all the people we don't like.
You got the apes to build a wall to keep the other people out. Ruggs, what else did you like about this? Give me another one.
Wow. I like Man-Ape. I really liked his character. I think he was...
Wait, Man-Ape? That's not Black Panther.
Bad Ape.
Bad Ape.
I'm not thinking about Manape.
Manape. Steven Zahn as Bad Ape was the perfect comedic touch. It wasn't done too much. He was great. I loved him.
Yeah, he was really good. It was a nice touch to the movie. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there wasn't a lot of talking apes. And so it was good to see one that could hold a conversation and kind of have a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. And that you heard his name is Bad Ape because he kept on doing stupid shit.
They were like, Bad Ape.
They just called him Bad Ape.
Well, what's great about him, too, is, as I mentioned, this movie is basically a gut punch the entire film.
Yeah.
And he adds that little bit of, oh, I can still laugh. This movie can still be somewhat enjoyable and not just be this downer the entire time.
I mean, every little thing when he fell and he's like, I'm okay. And then
that was great.
That's great.
When there's a part online, the clip where he's walking underneath the sewer, he's like 36, 37, 37.
Yeah.
Like he counts the steps and he's all excited. He's like, I did it.
Yeah.
And then Maurice is like, get on in my back, basically, and he's like, no. And Maurice yells at him, and he's like, no, okay.
He's like, no, don't go there.
That scene, and then like when he covers he digs out from underneath, and all the apes are looking at him, and all you can see his eyes, and he's just like looking at him in bewilderment. And Rocket's like, "See, this is the ape I told you about."
That's great.
Oh,
it's all fun
so
stuff.
Good.
That, and when he comes out, and everyone's dressed, or everyone's just looking like apes, and he comes out wearing a vest coat and a hat.
A blue vest. Didn't they wear something like that in the original movies? I feel like a lot of these things were nods to the original 60s movies.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Like a blue. There's something about a blue vest, but he looked adorable.
He was great.
Yeah, but you mentioned Rocket real quick. That fucking scene with Rocket going to distract everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're trying to get, was it Nova out of there?
Yeah, Nova was in there feeding Caesar.
The little girl.
He was about to like die of starvation and exhaustion, and Nova comes up and like for some reason is undetected by anyone.
That's true. But that's more Easter eggs, because isn't there a character named Nova?
So this is why this movie is so fucking awesome. The love interest for Charlton Heston's character is named Nova.
That's awesome.
In the original Planet of the Apes. Although I don't think this is the same Nova, because that Planet of the Apes occurred in like 3,900.
Yeah, we'll talk about like the timeline after.
But it's a nice nod.
Yeah, because those movies are still like hundreds of years away. Like they got to build all that shit and make more apes, and everyone has to learn how to talk. And
there's a lot more civilization and getting smarter.
But you see how at the end, like Maurice the orangutans become like the lawgivers that they have in the original movies, and he's like, I'm gonna know, everyone's gonna know about you, Caesar.
So yeah, that's another thing. Let's go into that. I really liked the connections to the original films, especially that first one. As I mentioned, Caesar has been talked about forever in those original Planet of the Apes films as this prophet, as this amazing character, and what we finally see all that in all three of these films, especially in this one. He's basically, this is how he became Moses. This is his story. That's awesome. That ties in directly to the original Planet of the Apes. You got Nova. You've also got
Cornelius.
Cornelius, which is his son.
His son's name's Cornelius, yeah.
Who eventually, there's a Cornelius character in Planet of the Apes that's one of the good apes. Also, the way the disease has now evolved to make humans basically primitive and not speak is exactly how the humans are in Planet of the Apes.
They're like
they're basically apes.
Yeah, it's flipped. They're the apes' pets. So that little girl, they're looking for the Colonel, and they come across the little girl who has the flu, and she can't talk. But I thought her performance was amazing. Like, again, a lot of this reminded me of Logan, like Daphne Keane, without saying much. And she was like, she actually had stuff to do in the plot. Like, she wasn't just like a little a side thing for them. Like, she helped them escape, and she moved the plot along. I thought she did an amazing job. I like seeing a little girl with the crew.
I liked her too. I liked her learning sign. I liked that she was so not seeing of color.
Yeah.
That she was doing the sign where it's apes together strong.
Yeah.
As if she was a fucking ape.
I love when she's like, I'm ape. I'm an ape. Yeah. And he's like, yes, you're ape. Apes together strong. And she's now, I guess she's going to live there with them in that promised land. What else? Man, there's so many things. I thought the score was pretty good. Michael Giacchino, just like on every movie these days.
Did you guys like the Colonel and how brutal he was?
I did like the Colonel. I like that he had a little bit of depth, how like he explained what his son went through. And then the whole twist being that he is actually building a wall to hold back the other humans because he was way too extreme. He was killing people because he didn't want, they were a threat to humanity. If these people spread this disease, this is the end of mankind.
So he even killed his own son.
He killed his own, and you can kind of like understand where he's coming from.
He is basically like, I am the last hope for humanity. I'm going to not only kill all the apes, but I am going to kill anybody that has any sort of disease that affects the greater population of humanity.
Man, and he's whipping them and torturing them. He's putting.
I don't think that was. I was a little bit leery of that stuff, but I thought that his character having that extreme take was pretty different. I think that was unique about the character. There was something I didn't like, but I'll wait till we talk about it.
I love the prison break. That whole prison break scene was pretty fucking cool. Like, it was very
I like
tense.
the fact that this movie is a summer blockbuster that for, I'd say 80 to 85% of this movie is basically just a character film.
Yeah.
It's not your typical summer blockbuster. There's amazing special effects, but it's not used in giant battle scenes. It's used on just character moments. And I like that we have a summer blockbuster that's an allegory for slavery and slave break and Moses, and you got fucking apes being tortured and children being murdered, and like, this is all heavy shit that's just being done with apes.
And I thought it was interesting. Yeah, you're right. Like, they don't do anything you would expect from a big blockbuster. And I think that helped make it not cliche. There's no big battle between them at the end.
Can you imagine a summer blockbuster where the lead character runs up upon the adversary's compound and there are people nailed on X's to things and being like half dead? Like, just straight up crucifixions everywhere.
Yeah. Wasn't that also from like the original movies? Those X's, like setting up a perimeter of people tied to X's.
I don't remember that.
Like, I saw that.
It might be in the originals, but I mean, who the fuck? Like, when Caesar rolls up and he's like looking at all these X's with apes just beaten to death and fucking nailed on her. That's what summer blockbusters are doing that.
Yeah.
No, it's really out of left field. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you see that rage in Caesar's eyes. You see like him just the shock. So let's talk about a little bit the end, because you're hoping for the showdown between the Colonel and Caesar, and it doesn't really happen. It gives you something that you wouldn't expect. The Colonel ends up getting the disease.
He can't speak.
And his nose is bloody, and Caesar is there with a gun to his head, and the Colonel's just begging him to do it.
Well, rewinding a little bit, it seemed like it was implied to me that he caught the disease from the doll that Nova
Yeah,
had.
of course.
Oh, the
Yeah.
doll.
Is that what it was?
That's
Yeah.
what did it. He picked it
She
up.
was infected.
Yes.
She's carrying him with her all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
So the doll.
I thought that's what it was, but
Yeah.
I wanted to confirm.
That's what it was. Definitely.
That's fucking great.
So Nova basically kills him.
Nova gets the final straw, and he puts the gun down, and the Colonel just offs himself, and then we get into.
You're blowing the biggest part.
Yeah.
Caesar sees this.
Yeah.
He sneaks in while they're battling. The humans are battling each other. He sees the Colonel can't speak, and Caesar has a chance to just off him right there with the gun to his head. And the Colonel wants him to do it, but Caesar holds back and doesn't give in to his Koba-like urges and just walks away.
It's the moment where he gains his humanity back, or or ape humanity, whatever it is.
That's where he gains his dignity. He's ape man. He's like, he can look himself in the mirror if there were mirrors.
Yeah, if there were mirrors, and he's finally shed off the hate that Koba had, and I wasn't expecting that, man.
No, me neither.
That was crazy. And
I was kind of hoping for a battle between them, a fist fight.
Yeah,
but that was more of a kind of a poetic way for the Colonel to go out.
It almost would have been too cliched if they did that. They really flipped the script on this and give us stuff that you wouldn't expect. What else did we like?
I mean, I'm a big fan of the supporting monkeys, apes. I'm sorry, wow,
monkeys have tails. You're the one who told me that. Yeah,
Maurice is fucking awesome.
Maurice is
crazy to me. That's played by a woman.
Well, Maurice is a girl, right? It's technically
no, that's a boy.
Really? Because the way people talk about him in some reviews, they kept referring to Maurice as a she.
I'm pretty sure it's a he, but who knows?
It might be Marisa.
Yeah,
Marisa. It's like Marisa.
I mean, Maurice is a man's name, but I really enjoy Maurice.
Yeah.
I love how caring that character is. Like the fact that he signs, he's like, you guys can leave, but I can't leave the girl. Like, I'm taking the girl.
Yeah.
If you guys leave, I'm staying with the girl. Like, his character, I enjoyed Rocket, as Rug Boy mentioned.
Yeah.
Rocket goes in there and he fucking sacrifices himself, but he's actually smart enough to know that he has to get in there to execute the rest of the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, all the fucking apes, man.
So there's a bit originally at the end. Maurice didn't have any lines. They wanted to do that end bit without Maurice speaking because she, whatever, barely spoke in the movie. But they said as then we were rehearsing, they weren't quite getting it because the emotion was coming through from the difficulty of her articulating. So I kind of love hearing Maurice speak because then you start to realize that she's also getting smarter. And then he whatever. God, it's so confusing. He's getting smarter and he'll eventually teach the other apes.
Well, if you notice the way he speaks, they're so clever.
Yeah.
Because he speaks, but he's not able to just do all the sentences in one breath.
Right.
He's got to choose very simple words and just put it together very slowly. Like, son will know father.
Yeah.
It's not like the apes can just straight up speak right away.
It's an effort.
Yeah, it's effort.
Yeah.
In the second film, literally the only thing he says throughout the second film is when Koba shoots Caesar and is accusing the humans of doing this.
Right.
He literally just turns around and goes, "Run."
Oh, that's
all he
right.
says.
That's a great moment to Felicity and that John Connor was in the movie.
John Connor.
He's John Connor. What happened to that guy? You think he's dead?
Oh yeah, he's dead. It's
They're
been
all
2 years.
Yeah. So it was 15 years from the first movie, and then 2 years since the last movie that they're. And I mean, Caesar's just like, look, we'll leave you alone. You leave us alone. But Colonel ain't having it. The Colonel ain't having it.
Well, he ain't having it, and they also had a traitor ape named the albino gorilla named Winter.
Winter, yes. Winter was great too, and I was kind of upset that he fucking flipped sides. I was like, you fucking bastard.
It's that white ape.
It's the white ape.
Of course he's a
Of course it's the white ape. It's going to turn.
Even when they're killing him, and Caesar's choking him out, he's having flashbacks to ape not kill ape, and he's choking out Winter. It's all very well done.
Yeah, I like the Koba parts where he's dreaming or he's just delirious and you see him. It's fucking freaky.
He's conflicted. He's totally conflicted about what he's doing. And you can't be a leader without having to do those hard things.
Yes.
Yeah. And he made
I love that about these movies. The second one and this third one, both are just what it's like to really be a king. Not only a king, but a king of this growing civilization. You know, it's in its infancy. So there's a lot of tough decisions that need to be made. And he's towing the line, and he's trying so hard, and he's doing his best. But sometimes he falters.
Yeah. Those scenes in the prison were great. Caesar standing up and the other standing up for him and starting to work when he was about to shoot him. That was fucking great
Lake.
shit.
That was
the girl,
Blue Eyes'
Link,
girlfriend.
Yeah. All right, let's get a little nitpicky now.
Let's do it.
What didn't we like? Rugs. I feel like you could be a little bit critical. But give us.
Yeah, well, I was a little bit critical because I went in. I had watched the second one recently. I remember there being more talking with the apes, and I was like, "What? They all forgot how to talk now?" So that caught me off guard.
There wasn't though.
I thought the son would at least say something, and he didn't. But like, I thought that was weird. But I got over that. Yeah. That's not like a huge deal. Yeah. That's just something that early on in the movie, I was like, "Why is only one ape talking? Or there's nobody else talking?" But I got past that, and then I was really into the movie up until the part where they go to the camp. And then I felt like that the Colonel, I didn't understand his plan. Like, especially after they revealed that there's other people, the other humans were coming to get him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that wall's not going to do shit. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Why is he doing it?
Because he's crazy.
Yeah, well, yeah. I just didn't understand. Like, if he really wanted to get rid of the apes, he would just shoot them all. They didn't need to do that. Like, I don't understand. Why would he want? To me, if I was the Colonel, I'd be like, they're a liability. These apes are a liability. Them sitting there is a liability. They're better off just dead.
Yeah, but
and I could worry about defending the thing.
But he knew they were coming for him, and he needed some kind of protection. And those people damn sure ain't building a wall.
They had fucking aircraft.
They had missiles.
Had everything.
Yeah, they had.
Yeah, that wall did jack shit. So I'm saying, like, why would you divide your attention and have to worry about these apes and whatever and feeding them and compromising your supplies and all that stuff? It doesn't make sense to have them as prisoners. So I just didn't get that logic. Yeah. I was like, that was weird. And then also, like, he could have just completely killed Caesar and then like demoralized all the apes and then really beat them down, but he didn't do that either. So I just didn't understand. He was very uneven in his character.
I'll say that I think he kept Caesar alive because he knew that
Caesar was
would
special.
Keep morale up for everyone else.
But he thought he killed Caesar in the beginning, which is why he was
true.
there.
He did think so. He says King Kong is down.
Yeah, Kong is down.
Good line.
So the defector apes kind of don't make sense because if you think about the Koba supporters hated humans the most. Caesar actually was raised by the humans, so he understands that maybe they can live their life. The Koba supporters hated humans. Why the fuck are they working with the humans now?
Let me answer that.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make a lot. It's not the best reason.
They hate Caesar more.
But they hate Caesar more, and the Koba followers also, I think the humans are going to win. So they're just looking.
Picking
like
the winning
Red
side.
says at the end, because Koba's or Caesar's like to Red, the one of the traitor apes. Like, are you even yourself anymore, or something along those lines? Like, is there any ape left in you?
Right.
And he's basically like, I'm fighting for myself. Like, I'm just fighting to survive.
Right.
So it does. When you think about it, it doesn't make as much sense, but I could see the connection there. That they're basically like, the humans are going to win, and we're going to be on the right side of history. So let's just stay with the humans.
Why didn't the humans fucking learn sign language at any point? They could easily figure out what the apes are saying if they just learned some fucking sign language.
Yeah, well, good point.
Here, I'll defend that.
Okay,
they're not communicating in complete sign language.
Yeah, it's like a weird.
It's a weird hybrid mix of sign and actual ape gestures, which is genius. I have a couple of complaints.
Okay,
because obviously I thought Dawn was better. If you're a very casual fan that doesn't really understand what's been going on in the past two films, the title of this movie is completely misleading.
It's a little misleading, isn't it?
Not only is the title misleading, the trailers and the posters for this are very misleading. The poster has an army of apes on horseback,
I was just
riding
looking
up
at
against
it.
an army of humans.
That never
with guns.
happens.
No. This is not a war film.
There's
at
no
all.
war in it.
There's barely any war.
Yeah.
There's maybe 2 or 3 action scenes, but they're not huge.
Yeah.
The big war is actually between humans.
Yeah.
So title's a bit misleading. for me, the second act in this movie, the prison sequence runs maybe 5-10 minutes too long.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. That there was parts that dragged.
Yeah, there was parts where I was like,
in the middle,
this is getting a little long.
Yeah,
like, they're really beating the fuck out of Caesar. Like they're almost beating the audience to death at this point.
Dude, it's very Jesus Christ torture, that part where he's getting whipped.
He's getting whipped,
kind of like Passion
gorilla.
of the Christ. Or Mel Gibson's. It reminded me.
I mean, that's not bad. It's just it was long.
Yeah,
it was long.
Yeah.
And then one of the other complaints I had is I like the tie-in with the disease infecting humans and now evolving to take their voice away.
Yeah.
But Woody Harrelson's character, the Colonel, basically does a 10-minute exposition dump.
Yeah.
Which could have been, I don't know how you would have handled it any differently, but a 10-minute exposition dump is not the best way to
explaining what happened. And then
he's basically telling the audience exactly what's happening, why everything's been happening, and it's like there's other ways you can.
Well, it's the most dialogue in the movie too. Also, like at one time,
it's a lot of dialogue, but it's literally just him explaining the movie to you.
Also, if the girl has the thing, why isn't she dead? Why isn't her nose bleeding?
She's already got it.
She's got it. Her nose was bleeding when they first got her.
Oh, that's right.
She doesn't talk.
Yeah, it's not that they kills them. It just makes you primitive.
It just
and not
makes
talk.
you mute. Huh?
It makes you think you're an ape.
Yeah, but she just kind of just like a mute.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It takes away your speech, and then you become more and more primitive.
You're just not as smart. You don't have the aptitude.
I'm smart. What do you? Oh, you mean the girl? Sorry, I thought you were talking about me.
Well,
I mean, she's just doing basic things a kid can do. That's like your intellect wouldn't go above what a kid.
I see.
If I could compare it to Dawn,
yeah. I want to get into that a little bit.
Not that War isn't a bad movie. War is actually really very good, in my opinion. The reason I think Dawn is better is Dawn has War is more straight up good versus evil, right? Like they give the Colonel something, but he's still a fucking terrible human.
Yes, all the humans are terrible.
Right.
Yeah, except for the
Alpha, the
Holocron.
Omega, like all that.
Oh, I like that.
For the beginning and the end.
I love that with the Greek letters. That's pretty
That's
cool.
great.
Because isn't that the beginning and ending of the Greek alphabet?
Yeah.
Alpha, Omega. Very good.
But Dawn has just more themes and more going. There's more twists and turns. There's also like the Brotherhood battle. There's the fact that the theme is basically knowledge is power.
Yeah. Yes.
But also like knowledge is also a bad thing.
It can corrupt
because it can corrupt.
Yeah.
Like you basically the apes become knowledgeable and they become more powerful. But now would they have been better off just being simpletons because now they're killing each other for power? There's that going on. There's there's the fact that the humans and the apes are both in the right in this film. In that film, none of that's displayed in this one. This is more just a jailbreak. This is more just slavery, and let's get them to the promised land.
It's like a depressing, like bleak kind of thing. But
this movie's more one note.
Yes,
the second one has more twists.
That's what I was gonna say. Like this, I mean, for me, it's very close because I like each for what they're doing. But there's more humans in Dawn. There is way more going on.
I'm not necessarily thinking the humans. I think it's just Dawn is more your Empire Strikes Back.
I think if they took out the whole wall thing, I think it would have been a stronger movie. I think that you could have taken out all that time that they spent on the wall and used it for something else that's a little bit more memorable. I don't know. Like, I felt like that was like a back door to tell a little bit more story about the characters, which is cool and all, but then it also dragged.
Right.
So there should, I like the fact that, Caesar got captured. I like the fact that he had a one-to-one with, the Colonel.
Yeah.
And I like that, that Rocket got his ass beat to try and save Caesar. I thought those things, but they could have taken that whole wall thing out and done something else with it. I think the movie would have been a better movie. Actually had maybe, some of the apes try and like rush the place and get him out. But I don't know. It just was weird.
You know what it reminded me of?
Yeah.
It reminded me of Dark Knight Rises when Bruce Wayne gets captured and put in jail.
Yes.
And then there's like, like the whole second act is basically him trying to get out of
the
jail.
movie just kind of stops
It
in
kind
the
of
middle.
just stops. Yeah, the movie there's not a lot of momentum in that part.
Also, I thought it was weird. So at the end, the other army shows up all in white, and then you see the helicopter battle. Like, it looked amazing while the apes are trying to escape and avoiding gunfire, and then an avalanche comes, wipes everyone out, and you think the apes are all dead. And he looks up in the trees, and you only see a few, but apparently they were all in the trees. Like, where did the rest of them come from? In the next scene, you see a whole bunch more of them walking to the desert. And also, how long did they walk? How long did fucking Caesar have that arrow wound that he just conveniently died when he got there? I like that he got to look over the apes and see them in their new land, and then quietly die. Like, nobody even noticed that he was dying. Like, that was very
interpreted
poetic.
that as, like, physically, even like us, we can go like for long stretches on adrenaline if we need to.
Yeah.
And then when your body finally gets to the point where it's like, all right, your body's done working, it'll stop. And I think that's what they were.
The adrenaline kept on going, man. And they for several times
he had to go until the mission.
Yes.
The body allowed him to go until the mission.
Until
was
he
done.
saw these people in the clear. There were several times where I thought the girl was going to die. Like, they really had me. I was like, oh shit, she's going to die. Oh, she's going to die.
That brings up a nitpick.
Okay.
Rug Boy brought it up earlier, but I don't know how the fuck they didn't detect Nova in that compound.
She just walks through.
Like 10 minutes.
Nobody's checking.
She's like
this.
making him dinner.
She basically cooks him dinner. You're right. And I don't understand how this compound is like full of soldiers, and they take out one guy with poo, and now like all the apes can just escape and no one notices.
That was so great.
Yeah, that's just weird.
They had two cages full of apes, and no one notices.
Nobody's
them.
paying
Only one
attention.
guy watching.
Yeah. And no, they all like crawl out underneath or like are on like lines basically.
Yeah, right
like,
above them. Nobody sees this.
but no one
There's
notices.
no watch out. There's no like guy in a
They
tower.
don't notice until every last one of them's out of the
The
compound.
guy's like, and that fucking, I didn't really like that Caesar got killed by a fucking arrow from that dude that he let go. I like that it was the guy he let go. But an arrow, come on, they could have been a little more epic.
Yeah, sometimes it's not always epic.
Sometimes.
That didn't bother me that much. The biggest thing that bothered me was a lot of the stuff that was going on in that prison. That was just, I felt like, there's people not getting noticed.
Nobody's paying attention.
Things happening. They're building a wall for no apparent reason. It just, not that the movie was bad, but I'm like, it would have been.
It was kind of
like,
yeah.
the thing about this movie is that you could point out all of these shitty things about it. It's still an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah.
It doesn't detract from the fact that it's an amazing film.
It's the character work, man. You buy these, you are into these characters. You care about them. They made us care about them. And the end was a great payoff.
Well, and if you've been a big fan since '68, although I haven't been alive that long, I've enjoyed those movies.
Yeah.
These are the films that you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for Caesar's rise and his.
How did this happen?
How did this all happen? How did the apes rise up?
I don't.
This is the story.
Can you walk into this movie without watching the first two? I feel like
I don't think you should.
I don't think you should either. I think it's a mistake. And
the Koba stuff, especially. I mean, you have to have seen part.
Yes.
The thing is like, what's brilliant about these films is starting from the first film, like you had Caesar, but you also had Maurice, which is the only ape that Caesar got along with originally. So Maurice is basically his second in command.
Yeah.
They got along because they could both sign, and his characters evolved. Rocket was in the first movie the ape that bullied Caesar, and now Caesar and Rocket are best
buddies,
friends.
yeah.
They're buddies.
Yeah.
Koba in the first movie was the ape that they were all experimenting on, and his arc is awesome.
Yeah.
Like all these apes started from the beginning and are all here. You have to have watched all three.
I love how Caesar was actually raised, like the only one raised by a human. So he still has
He understands
faith. He
humans,
understands them, that it is possible, but everyone's.
And he was loved by the humans.
Yes,
he was
yeah.
loved by James Franco.
I wish they alluded a little bit to the Franco in this one, like a little bit of a show me the beginning to wrap it up. Just like when he's dying, maybe you saw
Think of Franco?
Yeah. They kind of tie it all back around. Do you think there's going to be a 4? Does this need another bridge movie? Because the timeline wise, so first of all, Charlton Heston is in space this whole time. But
by the way, the first movie,
you see that.
Let's see that on a newscast.
Yep.
Icarus is lost in space.
So it's still hundreds of years until we get to the first 66 Planet of the Apes, or 60s, because They got to build all the shit. They got to become civilized and start wearing clothes and have laws and courts. And where do you want to see this to go, Anthony? This is a great trilogy. Do you add another movie to this? Do you start another trilogy in between? I don't know what you would do.
I've read that they do have plans for a fourth.
Yeah. What is that going to be?
I've read that Matt Reeves is open to doing another one.
What would you do?
As far as where you go, I feel like they should leave this alone for a little bit.
Do you jump ahead in time, like way ahead?
What
in time?
I think they might do is another Planet of the Apes remake, but I don't know how you do the original better unless I don't know. So I don't know where they would go.
I like
this trilogy's wrapped up.
Yeah,
I mean Caesar's story is wrapped.
Yeah.
They have to go with like a new ape.
They had to go with
Cornelius, but that's a different Cornelius.
It is a different Cornelius from the one from the
there's no way that's him. That's like hundreds of years in the feud past this. So
you could leave this alone and then just say watch the original Planet of the Apes and it would fit.
You could do something with I don't know, with the girl, but she doesn't talk. With I don't know. Maurice, like starting to civilize. Yeah, I don't know what you do, but man, for three movies, this is like if you sit down and watch all three of these together, what an amazing experience this is. Like you are just going for a great ride.
It's one of those franchises that's made money.
Yeah.
And yet every time they make a film, people talk about it and they review it and they give it high reviews and then no one ever talks about it.
It's so weird, but I kind of like it's like being a fan of like a really undercover band that you don't want a lot of people, you don't want them to get big, you don't want a lot of people to know them, but the fans that they have connect over, like the Pixies, Ruggs, right? Like the Pixies never made it huge, but Pixies fans can relate to each other. And
you're not going to sit there and like walk up to Joe Schmo and go, the Pixies, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, what?
Yeah. It's almost like this trilogy isn't for everyone.
What's crazy is like these films have made money. So the people are watching them.
Yeah.
But I will go up to like my friends that are, into movies and I'm like, have you seen the new Apes? And they'll be like, I haven't even seen the Rise of the Planet of Apes. Like, like Kate Amatuzzo.
Yeah.
Those movies are a joke. What are you talking about?
Yeah, people just write them off.
Aren't even aware that these movies are awesome.
It's because of the rubber masks.
I went to that first one with that James Franco one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went with a group of people that I made them go see this movie. I was like, I want to go see this. And they're like, it's going to be stupid. I'm like, let's go watch it. There's nothing else to watch. And then they were like, oh my God, that movie was awesome. That was like the best movie I've seen all year.
I mean, I think the Tim Burton movie did a lot of damage to the franchise.
I think that did a lot of damage. I remember seeing Rise, like Rug Boy, and the only reason I saw it was because I was a fan of the originals. I was like, oh, a prequel. That'll be kind of cool with Andy Serkis. But I was blown away, too.
Yeah.
I think 2001s did a lot of damage. I also think the fact that Planet of the Apes is remembered as kind of just dudes in makeup. Like
campy,
people don't actually,
60s.
I don't think a lot of people saw those movies.
No, because you see the rubber ape mask and you're like, I'm going to watch this. But you got to give it a chance. So, recommendation, listener.
Well, they also killed themselves, the Apes franchise, because they, like I said, each movie had less of a budget.
That's how you used to make movies back in the day.
Right.
For a
which
long
was weird.
time.
Which was back in the day. Yeah, that was how they did it.
Until just recently, really. Like, that didn't change.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Full Star Wars.
Yeah.
But Battle was okay.
Yeah.
But then after that, they made a Planet of the Apes TV show that was awful.
I think I remember that. I think I watched some of that.
And that basically killed the franchise. Because it was so expensive to do the prosthetics for the apes that they barely had the apes on the Planet of the Apes TV show.
They couldn't afford it.
Right.
So, I mean, Anthony, what recommendation for the listener? Like, if you've not seen any of these, start at the beginning. Watch them all. You will not be sorry. Trust us. This is an amazing journey.
I think you can do...
start with Rise, the first. That's what I mean.
I would do these first three, and then I would also watch Planet of the Apes maybe after, just because... The ending to that is the movie's fantastic, and the ending to that's iconic.
I kind of want to watch Planet of the Apes after this movie, and now having seen this, like it's kind of like watching A New Hope after Rogue One. Go back and watch the original Star Wars. It's not that tight as those two, but they've showed you the seeds in these movies for the
ending to Planet of the Apes is so mean because the whole movie, Charlton Heston's character is this skeptical human,
right?
That actually doesn't like humanity. That's why he went to space.
Right.
And then throughout the entire film, he's trying to convince the apes that humans don't suck.
Yeah.
even though he kind of believes that humans suck.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the film, he believes that humans actually are okay. And then he comes up upon the fact that humans killed themselves. And he's like, fuck, I was right all along. Humans
You
suck.
blew it up. Like, so that line, he's talking about the humans.
Right.
God damn you all to hell. He's not yelling at the apes.
Right.
He's yelling
It's
at the
nuclear war that wiped out the humans.
That's all so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
These movies have always been a lot deeper than
Yeah.
surface level.
I remember watching that first one, and it was on TV.
It was on TV a lot.
Yeah. And it kept my attention, and I was like maybe like 9 or 10 years old watching it. So.
But you're right. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that last scene. Like I've known
out of the five, I'll rank them real quick. Planet of the Apes is number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 would be Escape.
Okay.
Which is the third one. Number 3 is Conquest, which is the fourth. Those two are both really good. And then 5th would be Battle, and then 4th would be Battle, and then 5th would be the second one.
So rank these 3. What do you think about these 3?
I'd go Dawn,
Yeah.
War, and then Rise.
Yeah, Dawn and War very close. And then
I like Rise.
Rise is good though too.
But Rise is fucking good too.
Yeah, Rise is also nothing to sneeze at. I think it's neck and neck with the.
You know what? I changed my mind. Rise is the second one, only because it starts it again, and the part when he says no has been built in cinema for 40 years.
I mean, for me, the advance in technology, the way these apes looked, really pushes this movie above just, you have to watch this. You have to see this for your own eyes. Yes.
If you're looking at it performance-wise and visually, this one has got the best mocap that there
Absolutely.
is. The best rendering.
Yeah.
The first one's a few steps behind it. A lot. This movie, like if you watch Rise, you're gonna see the graphics.
And even in Dawn, they seem a little glossier. There's not as much detail.
The
and
Dawn
I thought
is
that
shot
looked,
at night and in the rain to help it out.
that's true. And I thought the apes looked great in that. And then I see this, and I'm like, "Fuck, dude, how do they do this? How is this all fake? This is crazy."
Here's the question that I've heard on every review of the show or anyone that's talked about, or not this show, but these movies, and have recently come out. Is a lot of people thought Andy Serkis deserved an Oscar after the second one.
Yeah.
Do you, or an Oscar nomination? Him in this role doing motion capture, do you think that's Oscar worthy?
I think
or of course.
Or is it still that gray area where we're like, it's Andy Serkis, but we don't know how much the CGI is actually, covering his performance, and what's the animator and what's
maybe they
Andy
should
Serkis?
share it.
Right.
I think this is an argument for that he gets a Best Actor nomination, because even the animation is based off his performance. It all starts with his performance. I think
just to kind of clarify for the listener how the motion capture kind of works is they're wearing these suits that will mimic their, cover their body movement, and then they have the white dots on their face.
Yep.
That the white dots actually aren't taking their facial expressions and inserting it onto an ape face. It's just a placement for where a face should be.
It's they wrap the CGI over the
it's just so the white dots are there so that when they put the digital build, it's where their face they'll know that's that's the face.
It's like that's
the face. They need to put the face there.
Yeah, that's where it helps. But man,
so it's not capturing actual facial expressions.
Shit,
it's
I don't
for
know
then the
who
animator
gets-
to then look at the actor's performance and then translate it.
God damn, who gets the?
I think they
I don't
should
know.
share it. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's but definitely Andy Serkis should be acknowledged as doing great mocap,
or some
there
kind
should be
of
a category for that.
That's the debate. Is there should it be its own category, or is this acting, or what is it?
I don't know. He needs to get some
because
kind of
he needs a lifetime achievement award.
That's
right?
what I'm
he
saying.
Needs something.
He needs some kind of lifetime achievement since Peter Jackson's King Kong. The man has set.
Oh, you're forgetting about Gollum, dude.
Well, but that came after King Kong. King Kong.
No, that was prior.
What? I thought King Kong was first.
Prior.
Oh, I think King Kong is first. I think that was
the original King Kong was in the 30s.
I think
so yes,
King Kong was the first time that there was a completely CGI mocap lead character, and then there was Gollum. Let's look it up.
Look it up. I think you're wrong about that.
I think you're wrong, man. Lord of the Rings, the first one is 2001.
Ah, crap! King Kong's in 2005.
Yeah,
you dick!
I suck,
dummy. No, Gollum.
suck.
Yeah, Gollum was the first one.
Well,
but I mean, Serkis has made motion capture and Weta.
Yeah.
A thing.
Yeah.
Like now everyone uses fucking Weta. Before that it was ILM.
I'm an ass. Everyone was probably yelling at their podcast catcher.
Yeah, but I like it when you're wrong and let it linger a little bit.
Look, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I honestly thought it was the other way around, but still, dude, Serkis should get a Lifetime Achievement and Best Actor, and this should get Best Special Effects Oscar. It should get all of it.
Do you think he will? Do you think he'll get a nominee?
No,
I don't think
they don't. They can't see it like that. These old white men picking this shit out.
They got a campaign to put a new category.
Yeah, they absolutely need a new category, especially when you're doing things like bringing back dead actors for a whole movie. People have been dead since the 90s and making them look young.
The question there is, who do you honor?
I don't know.
It's both. I think both of them get an Oscar.
Because I think I heard this on Movie Bob's podcast. The debate also is, or what the actors that are so protective of the Oscars is if you start nominating someone like Andy Serkis for this role, like a Best Actor role, or giving him a nominee. So then if I go in there and I put on a performance and I didn't really like my performance, so a guy in post edits my face to make it a little better.
Yeah.
Does that count as a Best Actor role? So like, there's that gray area of like, all right, well then now if an actor goes in and puts on a performance, we'll edit his face and dub in some lines, and now it's a better performance.
But isn't that great though? Like, okay, what if they have a new category called Best Computer Enhanced Performance?
Yeah.
All right, now if you're an actor, if you're like a guy that sucks at acting, and they had to go and get CG to make you feel better, that's going to be put out there.
Right.
That you're fucking suck at acting enough that they have to put CG over your face.
I'm not saying this is I'm not arguing for it. I'm just saying that that's where their heads at is. They're protecting the sanctity of acting. Yeah.
So it is, and it comes down to the director too, because what you said is absolutely correct, Anthony. This technique allows you so much control over every little thing. There's no reason to get it wrong, because you could just tweak it. If it doesn't hit emotionally, the director's like, look, I need a little more expression. They fix it. It's a weird advantage. And if the guy doesn't give that performance, it doesn't matter. You could build it on top of there. So I don't know who gets the credit. It's crazy.
Although I would also say that performance, you can tell there's a human doing that.
Yeah. It kind of looks like him.
When we saw Jar Jar Binks, you could tell that was there was no human, no soul behind that. These performances have soul behind them for sure.
So I wonder
that 100%.
All these actors that are listed as the apes, like, were they all walking around mocapped, or was it just the face and then they built the body off someone else? I can't wait for, I want to see the behind the scenes. I haven't checked out. I bet there's something on the Blu-ray for Dawn, like how they made this.
Like, it's like almost like one of those two where, like, didn't Brad Pitt get a nominee
for Benjamin Buttons? Yeah.
Was that all makeup or was that digital?
I think that was digital. It was probably like the Captain America deal where they put his head down.
We're getting to the point. We already saw it in Civil War where actors or in Guardians too, where old actors can look young again and do performances.
Princess Leia in Rogue One.
Tony Stark. Kurt Russell. So does that get nominated now when you look younger?
I don't know.
When you're still acting, but now you've been changed to look a little different.
Is that an unfair advantage? It's so blurry. I don't know.
I'm just saying. I'm just asking you guys.
Oh, those are all good questions. Listener, let us know what you think. Does he deserve
new category? It
should be a new category. All right. Any final thoughts before we move on, fellas?
No.
We'll see this movie. Go watch all of it.
I'll go with. Let me rate it out of 10.
Okay.
I'll go 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8 too. Absolutely.
I'll probably go a little lower, but not that much lower, 7.5. But I still enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, and as the series as a whole is
an amazing final chapter to this trilogy, and what a solid trilogy. Listener, if you're on the fence,
go out and watch it.
Start at Rise, watch Dawn, go see War.
This is the thing for our listeners. Go out and watch something that's fucking good.
Yeah, because then they'll make more.
Yes,
and we won't
and not only that, but go out and watch a blockbuster that isn't a summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
It's a blockbuster disguise. It's a character film disguised as a summer blockbuster.
Yes, there isn't really a lot of war, but there's a lot of awesome character. And check out all three of them. Okay, let's move on.
Run! It's Godzilla!
All right, listener, we're going to talk about another thing probably a lot of you don't give a fuck about, and that's Godzilla. And that's Godzilla because last weekend was GFest 24. And if you don't know what GFest is, it is the largest regular gathering of Godzilla and Japanese monster fans in the world, held here each year in Chicago. If you've heard the word Kaiju, these are your Kaiju fans. And if you check out episode 118, if you're a longtime listener, you will hear the story of last year when Anthony and I went and caused some havoc. You're going to hear Anthony picking up chicks and me breaking things. And listener, I will tell you, this year I did not break anything.
Lame.
It's kind of lame, but I had a lot of fun. And Anthony, you and I, we kind of had separate experiences this year. We kind of missed each other at the GFest.
You did, yeah.
I hung out Saturday. I already talked about Thursday when I went to meet John Bellotti and the fire alarm went off the minute I walked in the hotel. But really, this has become kind of a great annual tradition because we get to see John Bellotti and Nick Shev, and I'm going to shout out some other artists that we met and geeked out with.
Shout them out right now.
Well, look, so first of all, I didn't pay to get in. I just kind of walked in because they don't take credit cards, cash only, and a stupid ATM in the lobby of the hotel was broken. So what do you want me to do? I'm not going home. I'm just like, I'm going in. Nobody said shit. It was fine. The money I didn't spend to get in, I spent supporting the artists and Artist Alley.
That's a good thing to do.
Yes, and a lot of these guys are my friends and new friends. So this year, I bought prints from John Bellotti. I bought prints from Nick Shev, who is amazing. Lenny Romero, we met, who came with Nick from the West Coast. Really awesome artist, really nice guy. I bought prints from him, and I bought prints from Jeff Zorno, who's a crazy man, but really cool. Really great guy. And I love all the art that I got. I actually got some Spider-Man stuff also from Jeff Zorn because he did a Spider-Man versus Dracula cover.
Jeff Zorno.
Jeff Zorno, and he also did
Not Zorro.
Zorno Must Be Destroyed, and I got a Spider-Man versus Godzilla, and everybody signed things. We also met this dude named Dope Pope. We met an old school artist, Mark Maddox, Larry Quatch. It was all Artist Alley was great. Everyone had different styles. And man, Anthony, like these guys, like this is the place where I go to be like, I don't know what the fuck anybody's talking about.
I'm kind of jealous that you guys live in Chicago and can go to this thing.
I love this thing every year, and that they're going to be coming into town every year. Anthony, what were your observations when you hung out on the Sunday? Right?
Yeah. So I came at like the most uneventful time to come to GFest.
Yeah.
I was busy all weekend, so I couldn't really make it out as much as I'd wanted to. So I came on Sunday at like 2-3 o'clock. GFest closes at like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much going on. What I did see was similar to last year. Lots of toys, artists selling shit.
Yeah. Costumes?
No, I didn't see any costumes.
Oh, you didn't see that was Saturday was the costume contest.
Saturday is the day to go if you're going to GFest. Sunday, I mean, you could get some deals on stuff, but other than that, my observation is I was trying to be nice to Bellotti and say that this crowd is just as bad as comic book crowds usually are in terms of just appearance. Very friendly. I'll give you that.
Everyone was
very
so
friendly.
nice. Yes.
Very friendly. A little bit more weird, a little bit more awkward.
It's a passionate base of a really niche thing, but these guys know
not
their
as bad
stuff.
as pro wrestling fans.
Oh shit, they go down there. Just that's good, G-Fest guys. You're above the pro wrestling fans.
Do you think that there's people there, like when I go to a Comic-Con, there's always people there that are just there.
Right.
Like for no, I think that you have to be a nerd to be at this thing. You
Right.
really have to be a real nerd.
You do. This isn't a scene.
No.
It's not a tourist
No,
attraction.
this is not a scene to be at. I just don't understand why everyone's wearing black and not looking like they've showered.
The other thing
and
we didn't have was there was no girls dancing sexy at in the patio after show like there was last year.
There was no girls dancing around sexy, although there was a girl that a few guys at the G-Fest wanted me to hit on.
Yeah.
Just to bring her down a notch.
Oh my God.
But I won't name it.
Also, I did see the vendor of the thing I broke last year, the Japanese guy and the girl.
I saw her too.
I almost wanted to go up and be like, hey, remember me? But I just avoided her. And I don't know if she recognized me or even gave a shit. I just kind of avoided her.
Oh, I'll round out my G-Fest experience. So Sunday night, I was able to hang out with Bellotti and Nick Shev and Lenny.
Yeah.
and I was able to hang out with them on the patio, the patio party, which is basically a bunch of G-festers, either dealers or artists or just attendees hanging out before they all fly out on Monday. And it's basically just a bunch of dudes wearing black, drinking Godzilla's blood and Gamera blood, which is just light alcoholic drink.
Oh, is that what it was? I was like, did you drink the blood? I missed the blood.
By about 4 or 5, I was feeling a little loose, and I was like, it's time to go. It's a Sunday night. I got work tomorrow.
So here's a couple of things I love this year. Like, again, I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan, so every year, and thanks to you guys, Ruggs and Anthony and Bilotti and Nick Shev, like I've started to grow my appreciation for this genre and this fandom. But geeking out with the artists about the art process was some of my favorite parts, because everyone was really nice. Everyone from like 3D rendering to 3D sculpting to just inked art to pencil art to Illustrator vector art. Everyone has their own thing, and I love all that stuff. And I was able to geek out with them, and I love my prints. I can't wait to put them in frames and put them up somewhere. We saw an amazing suit, a fan-made suit from this dude, Kaiju Chris. I will put his Instagram and this photo in the show notes.
I think his name is Chris Boyea.
Chris Boyea, his name. He goes by Kaiju Chris with Krys. So on Saturday night, they have the costume contest, and this suit was in the back room. Dojo Studios has a thing where there's like green screen, and they kind of make fan-made monster movies, and we watched this guy like get into the suit. He was a very tiny guy, very humble. This suit has this is like a movie quality suit. Like, you could film a fucking kaiju movie with this suit. The scales on the back, the texture on him, the teeth, the face, like amazing. Like the hands and feet come off, and when he walked through the thing, it just looks so good. I was blown away. I was like, this fucking suit is incredible. Like, I can't believe this dude made this suit. It looks natural when he's moving around. Anthony, I'm sad you missed this. You saw the video I posted on our Facebook page and group. And
I was sad. I saw that on the group, and I was like, damn. Like, that actually I would have wanted to be at. Go ahead.
From what the photos look like, it looks like it was like super duper detailed. And I'm looking at the photos right now. Yeah. And it seems like the back scales are really, really well detailed.
Each one of them are different.
The face has got like paint job on it and stuff like that. So that must have been something you had to see. Like, I wish I could see.
Like, it's foam rubber painted, but then the teeth and the claws have like a shiny gloss that makes them look hard and a completely different substance. Like, man, just this fucking suit is amazing. And then the best thing, everybody, is Saturday night we were hanging out, and all day I was workshopping this idea. I came up with an original kaiju idea. Oh shit, boner. I got inspired.
Wait, so you got inspired by GFest to make your own kaiju?
I got inspired by GFest, and I'm going to see if I can remember it. Ruggs, I ran this by you earlier this week. You may have to help me remember some of these things.
I remember it, kind of, and I enjoyed it.
Anthony
your idea.
has not heard this, so I was so excited to give you this idea cold.
Okay, let him have it.
Okay, here's my kaiju idea. Imagine a post-apocalyptic future. The surface of the earth is barren and destroyed because of a kaiju named Ramadan. Oh shit. Now, Ramadan is mad during the day because he can't eat when the sun's up. He can't smoke a cigarette. He can't drink water. He just wants a donut, and he's pissed. His blood sugar is dropping. He's cranky. He's smashing everything around him, forcing humans to go underground and start civilization underground. Ramadan he gets so hungry that when his stomach grumbles, it sends out sonic waves and destroys buildings. Now, at night, he can eat, he'd have some water, he calms down, people come out, everything is safe. But during the day, listener...
The thing that you left out, though, is that the rich people can live underground because they've built the installations underneath the city. But the poor people have to live above ground. So they're not allowed.
No, they're not allowed. So Ramadan needs a bad guy. So the poor people, in an effort to protect themselves from Ramadan, have built a mech named Ghetto Robo.
Oh, shit.
Now, Ghetto Robo is built out of like dumpster parts and hot dog stands and toasters and shit that they just have around. And some of his attacks are he shoots strips of bacon at Ramadan. He also has these insulin bombs to kind of calm him down because look, his blood sugar is dropping. The guy's cranky.
Yeah, because when you're fasting, it's annoying.
It's very annoying. So somewhere in the past, because the fasting, Muslims fast for like a month out of the year. Somewhere in the past, the moon got stuck and Ramadan never ended. So all the Muslims have died. And this guy was actually the last Muslim guy on earth who just got so hungry, he mutated into a Kaiju. So it's like a Kaiju with a beard named Ramadan. Now, Ramadan has a best friend who comes around only at night. This Kaiju's name is Rastadon. He's got dreads, he's always stoned, and he's always got the munchies, which is why he only shows up at night when Ramadan's eating so they can sit down and have a snack. And he doesn't understand why Ramadan gets all feisty during the day. He's just like, relax, man. What's the problem? And Ramadan just walks around shaking his head, bobbing his head a little bit, and just getting angry. So it's Ramadan versus Ghetto Robo. Wait, I had more. Did I forget anything? What do you think, Anthony?
You put a lot more thought into this than I thought you would.
It's a good idea.
It sounds like it wrote itself.
It does. This thing
does.
Like it's a Muslim kaiju that's fasting, can't eat, and that's why he's angry. He trashes the city, but the rich people live underground, but the poor people have to build a mech. And they call it Ghetto Robo. And the funny thing is that there's something called Getter Robo. I thought that's what he was saying. He's like, they build like that's already a mech. He's like, no, Ghetto Robo. And I'm like, oh.
So that's where I came up with that idea because Lenny was talking about Getter Robo, and I was like, wait a minute, did you just say Ghetto Robo? And then I was like, that's who Ramadan fights, of course. His breath smells like curry. He's just an ornery bastard.
I think you told me something about his he doesn't have a roar, it's just the gurgle of his stomach.
Yeah, his stomach
That's
gurgles
really
and it sends out sonic waves, destroying buildings. Because look, the man, he just wants a burger or a donut, and it's Ramadan forever. It's stuck. The moon is stuck.
The only thing I would say is alter the name because it's too spot on.
Well,
like
it would be spelled
Ramadan.
It would be spelled differently.
Okay, there you go.
It would be like D-O-N. Like
road. D-O-N. Ramadan.
Ramadan and his buddy Rastadon. Ramadan versus Ghetto Robo, coming soon to a B-movie theater near you, listener.
How many people are going to try and kill you now?
Look, I'm Pakistani Muslim. I got a pass. Wow, we just.
You can make this is the most racist episode. You had Imran saying black.
Yeah.
And then stopping because he didn't know what he was saying.
And then he describes a racist caricature of a kaiju.
I covered all my
Muslim.
Look, so if you offend everyone at once, it's a wash. I've covered everybody. I'm not playing favorites. Listener,
I fully support.
Listener, let me know what you think of Ramadan. Maybe I'll start a Kickstarter. So you know what?
I guarantee you, we're gonna have a fan art.
Somebody built fan art. Nick Shev actually. I talked to him. He might want to.
They really loved it. They were dude, you got to hear this.
You know what's so funny? I kept talking about it. Baladi hated it. He's like, this fucking story again. But this random dude. We were talking about it. This random dude is like, hold on, I'm in. I would give you money for a Kickstarter for this. What is this? Like, random Godzilla fan totally got on board with it. He's like, that's a great idea. I was like, oh shit, this dude likes it, and he's a Godzilla fan. That was great.
Wasn't there some kind of a twist to it?
Oh yes, at one point, listener and Anthony, Ghetto Robo, finally kind of realizes he's being oppressed by the people who built him. Right? They control him. They're telling him what to do. And he starts to understand where Ramadan is coming from. And he converts to Ramadan's way of life.
Oh, shit.
Okay, that'll never happen.
It's like what happens when you go to prison, you convert to Islam.
Yes, he's going to convert. But then
the kettle guy
you see where I'm going?
Like, how much more racist can we make?
You see where I'm going? And then there'll be a heel turn back eventually, and there'll be enemies again. But every so often... Oh, that's a great part. It's so good, dude. It writes itself. I don't know. I was pretty intoxicated.
It's a crazy idea, Imran.
I was a little intoxicated when I thought it up.
I think it's very amusing. I would also be like Bilotti, where if you told the story to me more than once, I'd punch you in the face.
I kept and it kept growing every time. Somebody else is like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, Oh, wait till you
I
hear
love it
this.
has legs, but it's definitely worth one listen.
Yeah, it's worth one listen for sure.
It's worth the joke.
I think we've lost all of our listeners at this point. I don't think anyone's...
Yeah, everyone just ejected.
No,
no one is listening to this at this point.
If you listener, if you're still hanging out, you are.
There's some guy from the deep south still.
You're
listening.
a true Jock and Nerd
You're like,
fan.
yes!
I know that you're there.
That's how they
I know
are.
you're listening, Haas.
Listen, in this day and age, I tell people my name is Ron. I'm from Tennessee and I work on a farm.
Oh shit!
This is how I disguise myself now.
I'm Ron.
I'm Ron. Exactly. I'm Ron. I'm a farmer.
Ron.
From
Not Imran.
from the
I'm Ron.
I'm Ron.
From the heart of America. All right, look, that's it. That's the show, people. You got to end there. Come on. You got to end on Ramadan versus Ghetto Robo. That's the best idea you're ever going to hear for a while. Rug Boy, tell the people where they can find you online.
You can find me hiding from people reacting to this podcast with hate mail on really Rug Boy on Twitter.
Right on. Give him a follow.
Find me there. I'll be there.
Listener, subscribe to the show. Spread the geekery. Send this to all your racist friends.
Jesus Christ.
I don't even know what to say. Tell a friend. After this, if you can still tell a friend, go ahead, tell a friend. Nerd. Give him one of those. And look, you guys are my people. You get me. Ramadan versus Ghetto Robo.
I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about right now.
Thanks.
Yeah, Anthony's not supporting me.
No, I don't support any of this.
Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.